In an interview with Spanish-language TV network Univision, Pope Francis was asked about President Biden's support for abortion, despite being Catholic. Quote, "I leave it to his conscience and that he speaks to his bishop, pastor, his parish priest about that inconsistency," end quote. All right, one positive thing here is that it has inconsistency. That is, Francis is acknowledging to the public that Biden's view is inconsistent with the Catholic Church, with dogma, with doctrine, with morality. It is inconsistent. And yet, Francis and Biden take pictures together, hang out, releases video footage for Biden to use in his campaign videos, and he never corrects him. You would think if you were meeting with the most powerful man, or the man who's going to be elected to be the most powerful man in the world, Western world, however you want to slice it, you would say, you know, you are in the position, God has raised you up in a position where you can be the voice of justice for the unborn. You can be the person who overturns this and helps it. No, Francis doesn't say that. He says, "I'm just glad you're still receiving communion, Joe. You're a good Catholic." And that's a scandal. Let's think about this. How can we as Catholics follow the teaching of this man and get to heaven? It's a hard question. I have 8 children, beautiful children. They're my heart. Would I allow them to be catechized by Francis? No way. My wife didn't go through the 9 months of labor and the raising of children, the sacrifices we made, to then be taught Pachamamas are cool and you can have abortions, and taxpayers who don't want to fund it have to fund it, or else they go to jail. Why would I ever allow my kids to be taught by this man? If you follow those teachings, you cannot be saved. We know this. Francis is not doing anything to help Joe Biden get to heaven. See, Jesus Christ instituted sacraments. He instituted one church, not many churches. And then he gave what we call the deposit of faith to the church. It's a deposit. You can't take away from the deposit. You can't add to the deposit. All right, so let's just call the deposit spiritually $1 billion. That's the deposit. No one in the last 2,000 years can come in and add to the billion, and no one can take out of the billion. We have to preserve the deposit of faith, which is done by grace miraculously over time, from the time the 12 apostles died, through apostolic succession and the maintenance of scripture and tradition and a living magisterium, all the way to this time. And if a pope, not ex cathedra, tries to take a little bit out or add a little in, we don't do it. We don't follow it. We follow the faith once delivered to the saints. There's only one faith. We must believe that faith. It's very confusing to have a man in a white cassock and a white zucchetto say these things to a Catholic president. Does he understand that by leaving it to the conscience of Biden, who just also instituted an executive order to protect abortion, does he understand by leaving it to his conscience that tens of millions of babies die? If you love me, keep my commandments, Jesus says. If you love me, keep my commandments. Killing babies is against his commandments, period. And if a pope can't tell a man that, who he knows personally, shame on that pope. Francis could do something. Francis could intervene. He could teach. He could admonish. He could excommunicate. He could censure. There's all kinds of things in the papal toolbox. You're going to do nothing and let babies die? You know how weak that is? Cowardly that is?